Hey, what's up, family? It's your boy, Brother Mike. Welcome back to the Black by the Man radio show. This is the first show we are doing for 2021. And as usual, I am here with my co-conspirators in consciousness. First up to the plate is the lovely Miss Janice. How you doing today, Miss Janice?
Very good, thank you.
It's good to have you back on the scene. It's been a minute since the lovely Miss Janice was here, right?
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back?
Yes.
That's what's up. And as usual, my main man, 50 grand, Mr. Derek Woodson.
You.
Welcome back, Mr. Derek Woodson. How's it feel?
It feels all right.
Y'all ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
It's ludicrous, but we could do this. So everybody, if you're out here tuning in, welcome to the Black by the Man radio show. This is the return. So we decided that we was going to do it live on Facebook at the Black by the Man channel. And I think we have an interesting show to kick the year off. You know, remember, any of these shows that you watch, if you don't catch it live, you can always catch it on the Black by the Man channel on YouTube. It's all about education, inspiration, motivation through universal and practical knowledge. That's what we try to bring forward. So on today's show, we want to give you basically 12 tips to help you make 2021 better than 2020. Yes.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
I think we all have had an interesting 2020.
Wow.
Right. 2020 has been, it's been a lot. It's been a lot, you know.
2020 has been a lockdown.
Yeah, the whole lockdown thing, like that was interesting.
I felt like I was locked down.
You
Did
felt like you was
anybody else
locked
feel
down?
like they
Yeah,
were locked down?
I did. I felt like I was locked down. I tried to take advantage of the lockdown, got some reading done, and try to work on, my life, because I know that in the midst of any crisis, there's always opportunity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to take away from, what has happened to people. It's been a lot of death. I've even had death in my family. It actually wasn't COVID related, but during this time, it's been a lot of deaths that weren't COVID related. Like the angel of death is just in the air, period. So whether it's COVID or health problems, so forth and so on. So it's been very, very trying times, very, very, very trying times.
Yes.
So hopefully we can get some people joining us here today. Let me see here.
Right, and you have to remember, like, people not used to being locked down in the house. Normally you could be on the go, so you're always running. So when you actually have to sit,
Right.
That's a time when, depression can kick in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been a lot of people suffering from depression during these trying times. The COVID thing is definitely scary, so we definitely are hoping that everyone's out there taking care of themselves, protecting yourself, wearing your mask, washing your hands. But I'll touch on something real quick that they're not really touching on. Okay, so one of the ways that you can try to avoid, COVID is the old school way, which is eating better.
Yes.
Eating healthy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We have to eat better because when you eat better, it's going to build your immune system. And right now we are dealing with a virus that is, attacking the immune system.
Yeah.
So this is the difference between those who get it and, they're down in quarantine for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, go through some sickness versus those who get it and then end up expiring behind it.
Yes. And touching on that a little bit, right before we went in COVID, we did a couple shows on eating.
Yes.
And we were speaking on, people feeling like they didn't have a lot of time to prepare their meals.
Absolutely.
Well, during COVID, I'm sure we had plenty of time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, she gets the high hat for that. Definitely a good point. We might as well get this recorded on here too.
So yeah, I feel like we had plenty of
we don't
time
have
to
a thing.
try to prepare some meals.
Yes. You definitely had time to learn. I don't know if that's what a lot of people did, but that's definitely at least one of the things I tried to do. You know what I mean? Make sure I got something out of this other than just sitting at home getting fat. Because I think we all did pretty good at that.
I had a good trial of that. I was pretty good at one time, so I couldn't breathe.
Right. That'll do it. That'll
I
usually do
think
it.
we all had a part in that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I'm definitely thankful that we are all still here. And, welcoming my team back.
Yes.
We are back in the Creators Den, a.k.a. the BBD studio. So this is where we make the magic happen. And so it feels good to be back. And
It feels great.
I felt like I had a lot of people, Brother Mike, what's up? What's up with the BBD radio show? And I'm like, we coming. It was just so much going on in everybody's
really was.
lives.
It really was.
Everybody was dealing with different things.
It really was.
You know what I mean? At different times. So we tried to depict the perfect time that we thought it would be time for us to be back on the scene and try to inspire everyone.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Get your spirits lifted up.
Yes.
So yeah, 2020's been hectic. It's been rough for all of us, and hopefully the things that we give you today can serve as some good inspiration to help you want to get your 2021 in gear. I know it's still realities we all have to deal with, but we got to put some focus on the things that we can change.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So before we get into that, is there anything in current events we need to be discussing? Anything worth discussing? I mean, Trump's gone, so
Round of applause for that.
right. So there was always that thing. Like anybody that was in media, like if you didn't have anything to talk about, you could always fall back on that.
Yeah,
Right.
he definitely played his trump card.
I had definitely played his trump card. So yeah, what do we got going on? Anything in
Well,
current events?
I wanted to get you guys' take on it.
Okay.
In a couple of days, there's a few states who will be lifting all its restrictions.
Ooh.
Do you guys feel like it's too soon, or is it time?
I'll let Derek go in first.
Far as lifting it, it's like COVID's no longer a myth. It's no longer something that is just was created to cause a scare.
Right.
Now, what's happening is people are saying in the beginning, we weren't taking care of ourselves. We thought it was a scare. Now that you've seen death and you have deaths in family and stuff like that, now when you're doing it, now you're telling people we're going to lift the ban, but at what benefit? What do you benefit from it? If it's for the for money wise to help business stuff come back into play,
Right.
I give it a okay. But you're lifting most of these bans, people can go get drunk.
Yeah, I definitely found it interesting that certain things stayed open, certain things didn't. You get what I mean? So you had a lot of small businesses that couldn't keep their business open.
Right.
Right.
But Walmart was allowed to stay open, right? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, what's the difference between the small business owner with the restaurant or the
Right.
bar who's out here barely trying to make it versus the crowd of Walmart? So I
Yeah.
found that to be interesting.
Because what they're doing is like when you're opening some of these states up, give someone an understanding why.
Right.
Because you see open state because then you have the beaches, then you have the resorts, so you have the like you said the small businesses,
Right.
the eateries and stuff like that.
Mhm.
If you're not opening these, lifting these bans off of people, meaning their masks and stuff like that, at what cost you will to basically kill somebody?
Yeah. Clearly, I guess they're not thinking about that part, huh?
But do you guys think like the longer we take to lift these restrictions, people are going to continue to grow more and more afraid of letting go of the mask?
Okay, so I kind of got mixed feelings on this, right? Because I don't believe in the mask like society does. Like, I mean, if this is as serious as we believe it is, and it is serious, I'm not taking away from that.
Definitely.
But I'm just saying, like, we're not out here wearing, like super medical mask. You know what I mean? Like, I have, what do they call them? Face shields. Like, you can breathe through that thing and everything.
Yeah.
So, like the mask, according to research, really wouldn't stop anything. It's more about the person who has COVID wearing it to protect us from, but as far as like us walking around with the mask on, like, I'm not really sure. Like, it's different research out there that kind of goes against it. I never understood the 10 o'clock thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like bars and stuff closing at 10. Like, are the germs more active at 10 or,
Oh wow.
like do they come out, late at night? Shout out to Miss Katina Copeland. What's up, Tina? Thanks for hanging out with us and joining us on our first live presentation of the Black by the Man radio show.
Shout out.
I just wanted to bring that up because I just feel like the longer we take to get into some type of, I don't want to call it normalcy because the way we are now, that's kind of normal to me now.
Yeah, it's definitely
I've
have
kinda
become the
adapted
norm.
to new life.
Yeah,
so
it's become
that's
the
like
norm.
the new norm to me. But I just hear people saying, you know, they're still gonna try to enforce people wearing their masks coming in the store, and I
Right.
still hear people saying they're gonna continue to wear their mask. So
Right.
I'm just wondering, like, did we wait too long to take them off, or is now the right
Yeah.
time, or do we still wait a little longer? So
Yeah, it's interesting because there's so much misinformation in the media, right? It makes it very difficult for us to make an educated decision
right.
about this whole COVID thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can watch doctors say we got to protect ourselves. You can watch other doctors that say this is all a bunch of BS. Viruses don't
Right.
jump. You know, so it's a whole lot of things out there. What I won't take away from is the fact that people have gotten sick and people have died.
Right.
You understand what I mean? So, you know, but again, we would have to know like what really caused these deaths. Like, did they
Okay.
really get COVID from a virus, or is this really some radiation poisoning?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From 5G, because it's all kinds of theories out here.
Right,
You know,
right,
it's all
definitely.
kinds of theories. But I guess eventually they're going to have to, you know, begin to lift things anyway.
Right.
Or the country itself is not going to survive.
Okay.
You know, people not going to be able to work, businesses not going to be able to open.
Economically, you know,
Yeah, economically, you know. So unless that's the plan,
But I still think, like, you know me, I and I want to tell people, I was sick. I didn't say I had COVID,
Mhm.
but I was sick, and I was one of the ones like saying that, you know, it's this, it's that,
right?
until them 2 weeks took me down. You know what I'm saying?
Had
Where
you
I
feeling
was,
a certain
I
way,
was
huh?
hurting, I was feeling crazy and stuff like that, and I had to withstand it for the 2 weeks.
Right.
But far as lifting the ban, I agree to a certain extent. I think there should be rules and regulations with it. I think you should be allowed to take the mask off, but in certain spaces, because if I might not want my children or my significant other in that place where their masks are off.
Right.
You should have general areas where if this is what you want to do, you should be able to go to this place.
Right.
You don't have to wear a mask.
Okay.
But there should be some limitations where you go to a place you have to put your mask on only for your safety.
Mhm.
If you don't want to go to the shopping mart and don't want to wear your mask, then there's another one down the street from here.
Right.
Where you have an
Yeah.
opportunity to do, because I just seen a lady on there at a Bath Beyond. She had her mask off up a little bit too close.
Right.
They had a problem. She got to run her mouth and they hopped on her.
Right. Right. Yeah. I wear my mask. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to cooperate with the laws of the land.
Uh-huh.
Do I think it's my lifesaver? No.
Right.
You know, but I'm not going to be the guy. You know what I mean? That's in the store. And everybody's like, he doesn't have his mask
Oh,
on.
yes, they will put you out
exactly.
there,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to cooperate. But no, it doesn't necessarily make me feel any safer. And you know, I don't know. It seems like eventually it's going to reach that point where it's like enter at your own risk.
Right.
That's
You
how
know,
it should be.
yeah, like this restaurant doesn't require you to wear a
Right.
mask, but if you know,
If
it's,
you wanna
it's
come in
on
there.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on you. You know what you want to do. So who knows,
Can
man?
I
who
be
knows?
honest? On,
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
gonna be
sir.
very honest. Most of the people, like you said, you follow the laws of the land because what they have put into play
Right.
is you have to wear your mask. But
Right.
most people that are bucking about their mask are white people, and it's white women.
Hey,
I'm just being honest.
Right.
It's not white males. It's
It's
white
Karen.
women. They are the ones.
Karen, we see you.
They're talking about how they have these rights and all these other things, and they're the ones who are in there acting a fool.
Right. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
the
At least
husband-
on all the videos I see. Right.
Yeah, this what I don't understand. Where are all the husbands at? Where are all the male role models? Where's the,
Right.
the other people that who can pretty much say, look,
Right.
calm down.
Right.
Get in the car. I got it. You don't need to be in the store.
They say
I
they
got
like,
you."
yo, who wife is this?
Exactly. You see, most of the beefs that we see on this social media are from white women. This is not a diss towards them.
Right.
This is just what is going on. This is fact.
It just is what it is, right? Yeah.
Doesn't
Facts
make
is
any
the
sense.
facts. You know.
And they're falling out on the floor talking about I have rights. You're getting your behind whooped on video to have right not to wear a mask. You took 15 minutes out your day
Right.
to get something that's right in the front of the counter.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. That's interesting. So it's kind of hard to really say, you know, like we don't have no power. So
Pretty much.
you know, but I'll read a comment here. This is from Carissa Strickland. She says, I think they need to have cheap free testing so people, if they are positive, should stay at home. Limit interactions like going to dinner with friends, teaching kids to go to school before lifting restrictions. Okay, that's what's up, Carissa. Appreciate you commenting on that. So yeah, so she says, you know, you just got to put some rules to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Got to put some rules to it.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's such a, what's the word I'm looking for? pandemic. It's such a global pandemic. Like we
Right.
could literally sit here and talk about this all day.
We
All
can.
day.
You know, we
can.
could talk about this all day.
So I'm gonna move on.
All right, let's
I'm
move
gonna move
on.
on. So now let's
Sorry,
go
You lost.
to. There was a 17-year-old student
Okay.
in Baltimore,
Okay.
and this was the year I believe he was supposed to graduate this year.
Oh wow.
Come to find out, he's not going to.
Ooh, what happened?
For 4 years, he's only passed 3 subjects.
Oh,
in
I
high
seen
school.
that. I seen that.
So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, who do you guys believe is at fault? Is it the parent, the student, or the school?
It's probably a little bit of everything.
Because now that school was saying, he had to go back to the 9th grade. Now, mind you, he was a senior. His mom thinking he was going to graduate
Right.
this year.
Hmm.
But then she found out he had to go back to the 9th grade, which
Yeah.
means he's about to start high school all over again.
Right. I think the fault in that falls on both, right? But of course, more falls on the school. But the
Okay.
reason why I'm going to say it's also the parents' fault is because when I was growing up, we had situations like this where the school would pass you, and then that black parent would say, "I just asked my child what 4 + 4 was, and they said blue." Okay.
Exactly.
So what do you mean he's going on to the next grade?
Right.
You get what I mean? And the parents would actually force the school to say, listen, I want my child staying back because I don't feel that my child is ready for the next level, even though the school is saying that they are. And as far as the black community, especially if you played sports,
Right.
like that was common. You know what I mean? Like, athletics, so rather you could be dumb as a brick, but if you was the dude on the football team or the basketball team, you somehow ended up with a C, in that class so you can stay eligible. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say it's the school's fault.
Yeah, because still, at what point do you pull the kid inside a counseling class or something like,
Right.
hey, you passed one subject?
Right. And he's probably
In
just the
1 year since-
cockroach, the cockroach effect where they say that's just the one that got caught out on the counter.
Yeah.
So he's just the cockroach that got caught out on the counter. It's probably literally tens of thousands of
Right.
other kids.
Yeah, because I was about to say, actually not, because actually he still kind of was in the top. He still ranked kind of top of his class.
That was the crazy part.
Right.
Like, what?
So his GPA
He was
was
high
like,
ranked.
yeah, his
He was
GPA
high ranked.
was like .13,
Right.
but he was still like high ranked,
He was high ranked. Even though he had a, what was it, 1.3?
.13.
Oh, 0.13.
Yeah,
Good
0.
golly, Miss Molly.
13
Brother, we're going to pray for you.
GPA.
And they didn't even come to class.
Yeah.
They walked in and walked
Wow.
out.
Mm.
But I it's a two-sided coin for me because when we were coming up, it's two things to this. We were coming up, you got progress reports.
Mm-hmm.
So a certain amount of time you get a progress report, see what you're doing, what you don't. That's
Right.
before the report card.
Right.
So therefore, if they weren't issuing these out, the parent thinks that because we gonna come home and lie.
Sure.
How you do today at school, Mom?
Right.
I did awesome.
I did great.
You ain't been to school in 3 weeks. You
Right.
the hook.
Right.
So
Right.
therefore, and that's why I blame the parents because you're not parenting.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
listen to when you listen to a child,
Right.
you need the child to do everything that you're supposed to be doing.
Sure,
Because how you
sure.
doing at school? I'm
Yep.
doing fine.
Yep.
What did you do today? I did my math homework.
Right.
All
Right.
you doing is saying yes, 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 yes. You're not
Mhm.
being the parent and asking more questions. Then
Right.
it goes to the school because the school, if he was athletic, what they're doing is as long as you run this ball
Right.
or shoot this shot
Right.
or hit this baseball,
Yeah.
we're gonna pass you through.
Right.
And when we were coming up, like in the early '90s and the late '90s, when most of the athletes got up there on the microphone, they had no speech.
Right. Right.
Yeah, man, how you look? I'm doing the football. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I ran about
Shout out to all my boys
Right.
at 7-Eleven.
5 yards. Yo, what up, Mom? You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, you're starting to see a different trend because now people are more intelligent now.
Right.
They can actually talk to the reporter without have to look back if they're saying something right and then, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to cuss.
Right. Right.
Because you don't know right from wrong in that
Mhm.
aspect. So it's kind of up and down for me.
Yeah, it's definitely a mix. I think it's a little bit of everybody. Katina Copeland says, "How did he get from the 12th? How did he get to the 12th? Only passing 3 classes from 9th. Something don't add up." Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I'm
you got
assuming.
you got a mixture of the school because the schools are supposed to have this no student left
That's what I was
behind
gonna
program,
say.
right?
Yes.
So they drop the ball on that, and then you have the ball being dropped by the parents by depending on the school to be the ones to make sure their children are getting their education.
True.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of parents the school system is their babysitter. They be so glad to get them little rugrats up out that house,
Right.
get them to the school, and then you kind of feel bad for the teachers because they're dealing with your undisciplined child.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yes.
For 7
Smart
hours.
mouth,
Yeah,
disrespectful.
disrespectful. You know what I mean? The whole nine. But I think it definitely falls on both of them
Absolutely.
because you can't depend on people to make your children what they need to be.
Okay.
That's really our job, right? It's
Okay.
really
Yeah.
our job. So,
I
yep.
think we go for that.
All right, so I'll tell you what. Like I said, we could probably rock with this all day, and plus
Yeah,
we ain't been
pretty
on the air in a minute, But let's go ahead and get the show started. So again, if you missed the top of the show, for the first show for 2021, we wanted to do something that would be fitting along the lines of what the show's about and what the Black by the Man YouTube channel is about, which is education, inspiration, and motivation through universal and practical knowledge. So we try to bring constructive conversations. So today we got 12 tips to make 2021 better than 2020.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So let's get into this. All right, tip number 1, smile more. Smile. It says, I think we're all missing smiles in public spaces. Once the masks are off, decide to show more of those pearly whites every chance you get. Now, this is based on an article from a website called Becoming a Minimalist. 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 That's a little tricky word to say. Minimalist.
Yes.
Yeah, it's written by a guy named Joshua Baker. So I thought it was a great article to go over for the first show. See if we agree. So the first one to make 2021 better than 2020 is to smile more.
Yes.
We are not often getting to see people's smiles anymore.
Yes.
Right? And it makes it a little tricky doing conversations. Have you ever had conversations with people and you don't know if they're with you or what? Because all you see is their eyes. You just like, are you listening to me?
Right. Did you get it?
Yeah, did you get it?
How
So what do
was
we
that
think
joke?
about that? Let's talk about smiles. I always feel that smiles are contagious,
Smiles are definitely contagious.
right?
Contagious, and it brings great energy.
Ooh, where's the bell at? That's the first bell of 2021. She gets the bell for that. Yeah, it brings that positive energy. Brother Derek, do you feel like you were smiling, brother?
I never was.
Okay.
But last year it was a year of no smiles.
No smile, yeah.
Because there was a lot of turmoil last year.
Mhm,
So
yep.
by this year, we weathered the storm. It should be more smiles. It should be more grins and more understanding that we made it through a crucial time.
We did.
So
Yeah.
We
this
did.
time you should smile, even though you might not give a smirk or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because a smile is actually warm. If
Yeah.
you walk
It
up on a
is.
person, their
It
face is
is.
all beat down and all you don't know whether to shake his hand, step back, give him
Yeah.
a fight stance or whatever.
Right.
So when you go up to a person, you smile and shake their hand, or give them an embrace of a hug, how are you?
Yeah, you
Your
seem
smile's
approachable.
genuine.
You seem approachable.
And just think about it. Smiling is going to help you gain that momentum back.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely mental control. I spoke about this on one of the shows a couple years ago. So let me see if I can get it right. Don't quote me, but I believe it takes over 400 muscles in the face to
Exactly.
frown,
Yes.
but it takes only 4
That's
to
a
smile.
fact.
Yeah.
That's a scientific fact.
Yeah, so I was right on that.
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so it takes over 400 muscles to frown, to be upset, to cry, you know what I mean, to
Yes.
have a mean mug, and it takes 4 muscles to smile.
Right.
Yes. And it's like you said, Doug. 2020 was rough.
2020
it was
was
a rough year. We had sadness.
Yeah.
We lost some people. And just smiling more in 2021 just lets the world know, hey, we've
Yeah.
been through some things, but, we're ready to just move on from that.
Yeah, and it's sad because I'm sure a lot of us deal with the guilt. Like if you going into 2021 and you are happy and you are smiling, then you get hit with like a little bit of guilt because we all dealt with people who got sick or people who passed away.
Right.
So then it's kind of like, should
don't
I
wanna-
really? Yeah,
yeah,
should
you-
I be smiling like this?
That's why I said back to 2020 because I felt kind of crazy saying, "Yeah, I'm smiling 2021." But
Right,
you got
right.
thousands of people who they want to smile, but it's just too hard.
It's too hard, and you don't know if it's going to affect another
Right.
person.
Yes,
Like
yes.
as a barber, I have customers that come in, and they'll be like, "Man, Mike, 2021 was horrible. This, that, and the third." And like I said, I suffered losses. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
had family members that disappeared, friends and family that got sick. But for me personally, it wasn't that bad of a year.
Right.
And I don't really want to be saying that when they're going over and like, man, 2021 sucked.
Yeah.
I lost this, I lost that. My car got repossessed. My cousin died. This, that, that. Like, and they're looking at you like, what about you? And I'm just like, Yes,
You know?
terrible. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah,
Disrespect.
right. I don't want to be like, actually, wasn't that bad for me? Did all right on my investments, open a new business.
Yeah.
So
you know,
maybe,
like,
that smile. Because for the people out there, I want to let y'all know, the people who lost somebody, the
Yeah.
people who were sick, you know what I mean, and still going through that hurt. The smile is not just for us all the time.
Right.
That smile's for y'all, for the people who can't smile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you lose your mother, who's been your rock, and
Absolutely.
you watch her basically break down,
Right.
and you got to watch her suffer, and then when she's no longer here, you don't have that same rock, so you
Yes.
don't want to smile.
Right.
You want your mother back. You
Right.
want your father back. So
Yes.
absolutely.
if you know somebody out there who's lost someone, who has an issue or whatever, smile for them.
Yes.
Give them an opportunity to smile. Then maybe one day when they're ready, they can do the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I try to focus on the fact that that person is not suffering no more.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I guess I hope I'm doing that for me and them.
Yes.
Right.
And not just so I don't feel bad, you know, because you know I'm just being real, you know. Like sometimes we think that way to make ourselves feel better. Like, well, you
Right.
know, he's not suffering no more. You know, he might be somewhere like, yes, I am.
Right.
You get what I mean? I don't know. You know, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. You know, so yeah, so it could be a little difficult, but yeah, but I definitely think that's a good one. We need to smile more.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Smiles are contagious.
Definitely.
Smiles are contagious, and you appear more friendly,
Yes.
more approachable,
Yeah.
Yes.
and more trustworthy.
Yes.
People tend to trust people who smile more.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not to say it's a guarantee, but
Yeah.
you know, because you know there are jokers like on the Batman series, Joker, right?
Yeah.
Real Joker. But I think it's a good one. So number one, to make 2021 better than 2020, smile more, smile more. All right, let's go on to number two. So number two tip to make 2021 better than 2020 is to complain less.
Absolutely.
Complain less.
Yes.
2020 was a year of dealing with life and death issues on almost all daily basis. In some ways, all things we used to complain about seem so small now. So let's decide to no longer complain about the small stuff.
Yes.
So is that
absolutely.
something we learned from 2020? For everybody who's watching us today, feel free to type in your answer. Do you feel that because of everything we went through in 2020, it taught us now to not be so concerned about the small stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it did that too. If you take whatever lessons was in it. Now I'm not speaking on death because I don't
Yeah.
think that's a lesson for
Mhm.
anybody,
No.
right?
I
But
don't
you
want that
know,
lesson.
I don't want that lesson for sure. But it was other things that took place.
Absolutely.
So let me see if I can think of one off the top of my head. I think one of the lessons that people learned is that their company is not as dependable as they thought. A lot of people just got cut short. It's a lot of people that are still recovering from losing their job in 2020.
Absolutely.
I think 2020, and don't quote me, but just from what I've seen, right? I think 2020, at least in the black community, I think there were more small businesses open than ever before.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
It was a market
You
that
know,
hit it
yeah,
by storm.
like I think black people was like, you know what, this ain't gonna work. You know, what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right,
them
right.
jokers told me, we'll see y'all later. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
is company gonna be here in 30 days? We don't know. We just know you're not.
We're gonna play. We're gonna play it by ear.
Yeah, we gonna play it by
You
ear.
get that call in the morning. You come
Yeah,
to work.
yeah, you know.
hey.
So I think because of that, more people opened businesses. I think more people began to invest. You know what I mean? Like Robin Hood went through the roof. You know, like the game stock.
Yeah.
Stock, right?
Right.
Went from $17 to like 484
Right.
in a couple of days. Like that's unheard of.
Yes, and this is kind of off the complain less, but I wanted to say, like in 2020, I did gain a new respect for entrepreneurs.
Oh, very nice. Shout out to the lovely Miss Janice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I definitely saw a lot of people become entrepreneurs.
Yes. we
Yes.
Definitely did.
Yeah.
Like I said, 2020. What is that again? So I make sure I'm saying this right.
Complain less.
Complain less.
Because I was going to start complaining. So.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that we was on the same one.
Right.
But a lot of time it's more not to complain. You just upset.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things were upsetting.
Yeah.
So, but still, you can call tomato. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Yep.
that's what most of us were complaining at, because you look at something, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that, you're trying
Right.
to do this,
Mhm.
and one after another, because of this virus, you was getting shut down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I used to be. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Listen.
I used to be a big complainer, but I used to complain about my work hours.
Oh.
Yeah, this taught
Okay.
me not to complain at all.
Learned a lesson on that, huh?
Yeah. Too much time off your hands. Huh?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people got sit down. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I
Like,
did.
you know, when you got put in a situation where the job's not there, and I think a lot of people found the lesson in that, which
Yes.
is you can't depend on this stuff. You get what I mean? As much as it may be a great job, and you know,
Yeah.
but don't put all your eggs in that basket,
You can't. I
COVID will
watch.
come along and kick that basket over. It's people right now because, like, I think one of the things that I felt like they didn't focus on through this whole COVID thing, you know, as far as the media and Facebook and all that, it's still a bunch of people without jobs.
Yeah.
It's still a bunch of people that lost homes, that, you know, lost family. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
they not showing us like all the ugly that came
Yes.
out of this.
Mhm.
You know, it's just strictly now talking about, you know, everybody who's receiving unemployment, right? So everybody's kind of laid up on that. But it's a
Yeah.
bunch of people that ain't got their first check yet.
Yes, it is.
You know?
Because there's so many people. See, and I try to tell people, no one wants to lay on the couch and wait on a check.
Right.
No real person really wants to do that.
No.
But there's several things that people also have to worry about. There's jobs available. Yes, they are.
Hmm.
But again, this deals with taking the mask off.
Right.
You walk into an environment where there's 300 people. That's 300 people. You have to break down who is sick and who is not.
Mm-hmm.
So now, at what cost will you go to work to pay your bills or to do certain things, put your life on the line? There's not a person in the street right now who will stand in front of a gun and say, pull the trigger.
True.
Right.
True.
So you got to weigh your options. Then hear this unemployment saying, well, if you lose your job because of COVID or this happened because of COVID, people want to go back to work, but they are afraid.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. They are afraid, and then because of all the predictions of the chaos that was going to happen
Absolutely.
within society, right? I think having a man in the home at the peak of this, the value went up,
Yeah.
True.
right?
Yes.
No job or not, there was a lot of women that felt safer that they had a man in the house
Absolutely.
because it almost, and I pray it never gets to this point, but it almost got to a point where it really wasn't going to be about if you had food or water. It was going to be about if you keep it.
True.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And you're going to need a man in that house when people come knocking at that
Yeah.
door, you know, because times was getting so crazy. You know, so many people without money and can't eat.
Right.
And it's just a proven fact that if you put people in what's known as marginal living conditions,
Yes.
it produces pathological behavior.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Pathological survival behavior is what they call that. So, yeah, I think I definitely learned to complain less.
Absolutely.
After pretty much having somewhat a little bit of my freedom taken away from me,
Hmm.
yeah, I learned to complain less. As well.
Yeah, I think we definitely have to take that out of the COVID. You know what I mean? Like, I know someone who's dealing with COVID right now, you know, breathing problems, oxygen, pain, so forth and so on. And it definitely makes me feel more appreciative, you know, that I got up and went to the gym the other day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not only am I not feeling bad, I'm feeling good enough
You're
to go to
able
the
to
gym.
do
Yeah,
what you
so,
wanna do.
you know, praise the Most High God for that,
Absolutely.
you know. So I definitely want to make sure I'm mindful of the things I complain about. Suddenly, if someone didn't put their blinker on when they turned in front of me, I don't get as irritated anymore.
I get
You
it.
know, I just like, hey, it is what it is. Get me upset. So number 2 was complain less. All right, let's go to number 3. All right, number 3 in 12 tips to make 2021 better than 2020. Appreciate more. Okay, that fits with complain less, right?
Yes.
Appreciate more. 2020 was a year of trials and tribulation. And I now know that it was a year of appreciation. So many things became small that we once thought was big. Decide now to carry that forward into 2021 and appreciate all the good around us in a more intentional way. So we have to have an appreciation, right?
Yes.
Maybe a little bit higher than what we did before the pandemic. Because now we've been broken down to the basics. Like I was just talking about going to the gym.
Right.
So I have to appreciate the small things that I was even able to go to the
Right,
gym,
right.
and do some cardio, right?
Right.
I'm doing cardio. I'm on a stair machine trying to get my cardio up, right? So I got a target heart rate I'm trying to reach. but just the fact that my breathing is good enough for me to even do that.
Absolutely.
I need to appreciate that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
Yeah.
appreciate that.
You can appreciate the fact that you can even go back to the gym.
Yes. Oh, don't get me on that. Let me tell you, just a little sidebar. When the gym closed, that's when I realized I was a gym rat. Now, I'm only a 2-day rat, 2 days a week. But when I couldn't go there, suddenly my desire to be there was so much higher. I'm sitting around mad like, I can't believe the gym ain't open. This is some
Right.
bull. You know, the gym's not open and the grocery store is. Something wasn't working with this for me. You know,
Yeah,
I'm sitting at home eating cookies and cream.
You already.
I know.
Hey, I didn't have my chicken cheese steak.
I didn't say anything. I let that shit go. I didn't say anything because I had a few Debbie's, and because for people who really know who I have a sweet tooth that is ridiculous, and it's bad. So I try to leave the honey buns and all other stuff alone. So
Right.
during this COVID, I'm getting about a boxes, and I'm doing night sitting. That means sit with the box at nighttime to eat them all.
Oh man,
Ridiculous, man.
that's sitting home eating. Got to binge watch a bunch
Oh, my
of
God.
Netflix and
Listen.
Amazon Prime.
Right, I got shows. I
Saw
got
every
seasons.
movie you ever wanted to see.
Yeah, man.
Went through Game of Thrones in 4 days, 8 seasons.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to remember the little things with my appreciation.
Okay.
Like toilet paper,
Oh yeah,
water,
get a bell for that. Toilet paper.
bottled water. Like yes,
The tissue
those
thing,
things.
I just didn't get it.
Listen,
I
did you
still
see?
don't
Did
get
you
it.
see the joke that Korea made when all that was going on?
No.
Okay, so Korea put a little joke out on social media, and they was like, Korea has had COVID, like their cases were way worse than America, but they never ran out of toilet paper. So
Right.
they was asking Korea, what are you guys doing different from America? Whereas you had more cases, but never ran out of toilet paper, and then America had less cases, but ran out of toilet paper. The Koreans said, because Americans are assholes.
Oh,
And that's why they ran out of toilet paper.
Wow.
Yo, they fired shots.
wow.
You know, because it's like, why are y'all out of toilet paper?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's COVID.
I
It's
still don't understand.
it's not diarrhea. You know what I mean? Like,
That is the myth.
what was
That's
that? What was
myth.
that going on?
I still don't understand
I
that.
don't. They were
Ran out of
fighting-
toilet paper.
They were fighting for toilet tissue.
They were fighting for toilet tissue.
Like it just was crazy. And I was like, I seen carts full of toilet paper.
Yeah,
Not one stick of deodorant.
Yeah.
Not one tube of toothpaste. Not an extra toothbrush. Not a cleaning supply in there. All I seen was toilet tissue.
yep. So
And I tell people before, I'm gonna right quick.
yeah, go ahead.
I bought my water, so I really didn't need bottled water per se. But you still, if you did want it, the convenience of having it, you're not gonna have it.
Not gonna have it. So I guess amongst appreciating things more, toilet paper was one of them.
Yes,
Appreciate the Charmin.
appreciate
You
it.
need it. All right, let's move on to number 4. Number 4, connect more. In 2020, we lost the ability to connect with others in person at coffee shops, churches, restaurants, concerts, sporting events, and even some family gatherings. Let's never overlook the opportunity to connect with others again. Nice.
Yes.
Really nice. Yeah, like, I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah, we did lose the ability to connect.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big one because I feel before this whole pandemic started, we was out there connecting a lot, socializing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I felt like we was just starting to like bond all over again. Us as a group of people, we was just starting to bond, and you know, we were like getting close.
Oh, right. The age of Aquarius was ushered in,
Yeah.
right? So it's
COVID
a
came
yeah.
through.
COVID came with it.
Yeah, so just wipe that out.
You know,
so.
it was a time to new energies, as they say. I'm not an
Yes.
expert on astronomy or anything, but I do believe it was something to that.
Right, because think about it. Because now it's been like a year.
Mm-hmm.
So you got back into doing things individually again.
Right.
So you don't want people to take on those habits again.
And we kept the
Become-
bars open. That was funny. The bars in the liquor store.
Stayed open.
That's why people was coming outside, go to the liquor store.
Yeah. I had a few trips.
Yeah. Oh, what?
I had a few trips.
I'm not proud of it. My liver was mad at me.
Oh, wow.
I was proud because I needed every shot I hit. I was proud of
Right.
it. You know, but
So yeah, so we got to connect more. 2021. You know, we got to stop being scared of each other.
Yes.
Like I said, in the barbershop, you know, where I cut at, you know, I have people come in with masks on, and sometimes they'll say, "Is it okay to take the mask off?" And I'm like, "Go for it, man." You know what I mean? Like, I'm a believer in God. It's like it's not that I don't think I can't catch it or anything like that. I just feel like I'm going to play my part. But as far as my life, the Most High God decides that if He wants me to have COVID, I'm going to have it no matter what I do. And if He doesn't want me to have it, I'm not going to have it no matter what I do.
And
You know what I
still,
mean?
a lot of these things were psychological. I guess they were doing it to make people feel good.
Oh yeah.
Because I still don't know where the whole putting the thermometer up at people's heads when they're entering into something.
Yeah, I'm not a
Like,
fan of that.
If you don't have a fever, you don't have COVID. No.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that because that's got to be radiation going to her head.
Yeah.
I think you can do the wrist instead. I think.
Mhm.
I mean, again, I cooperate.
But even with that,
I do it, but
Like-
know,
what is that telling you?
yeah. What is that telling you? You know.
Anything
You don't
to
have
do
a
with
fever?
that, anything to do with probing, sticking, or anything? I don't want no parts of it. I am petrified.
Like
I
your
mean,
temperature is okay, so come on in.
Yeah.
Right. Like, is that the only
Just had an ice pack
symptom?
on his head.
I
My
leave
temperature
it-
good.
Like, you
According to
leave-
this, you're dead.
Yeah.
But it's not high. So come on.
Right.
Right.
And,
Yeah, that's
I'm
it.
really, I don't. Oh, like the brother put it like this. Did him connect more. He said, "This is Horace Mason. I would love to come and
Shout
give
out.
my expression on how to support black-owned businesses."
Oh, okay. Well, shout out to Mr. Horace Mason. Horace, you can actually email us at blackbydemand, the number 4 in the letter U at gmail.com. So that's blackbydemand. Remember, buy is spelled B-U-Y as in purchase. Blackbydemand for you at gmail.com. You can email us and we can take it from there, brother. We can take it from there. So yeah, make sure you email us. And I appreciate that. Horace want to come on and kick it with us. I heard
guy,
that,
man.
brother. I heard that, brother. You got a brother in here vouching for you, man. You got one of our teammates vouching for
Good
you.
guy, man.
All
You
right,
don't
all
need
right.
like him.
All right, so we expect to hear from you, brother. All right, let me see. So Katina says most people that got COVID didn't have fever. Crazy. Wow.
Right.
That's interesting, Tina.
Exactly.
Right. So like if they don't have fever, what is the thermometer thing again?
Exactly.
That's interesting. Good point, Tina. Good
I
point.
didn't even pay that no mind.
Yeah.
Because there's no.
See, that's what I was saying. Nigga had an ice pack
Oh.
on his head. Like you could be COVID, put an ice pack on your head. They'd be like, he good. Walk in there and contaminate everybody. Yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. It's like they're making stuff up. I mean, if you think about the beginning, remember I talked about the mask, and remember in the beginning they had to be like the N95 or something like that. And then next thing you know, we was wearing shirts over our face. You know what I'm saying? Like it went from the medical mask to a T-shirt.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, that connect more, that's really, really important. Because just imagine, like, they even had us social distancing. Like, we
Yeah.
were 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go around each other. We couldn't
Yep.
be by each other. It was
Mhm.
just like,
And I tell you, if you
Man
look
alone.
if you look into what 2021 has been, with the ushering in of the age of Aquarius, if you do any research on that, it might have been some reasons why they wasn't letting us get together, man. Because when people get together, certain energies get
Yeah.
produced, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Things get done. I don't want to put a bunch of conspiracies out there. I'm just saying it was a hell of a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I know you know the comedian said he was on. He said, "I've never seen a bunch of dumb people in my life." He said because the government got everybody to go in the house and don't come out.
Yeah, they put us on curfew.
So no one paid attention. When he said, I can't remember who said. He said
Right.
no one paid attention to it. They said, "Go in the house and you better not come back
Don't
out."
come out.
And we complied.
This is a test.
The whole time they could have been spraying
This
the
is
food
a test
in the
of the
grocery stores,
emergency
all
broadcasting system. This is only a test.
that. Right. So
Yeah, that's deep.
it's crazy.
They was flexing their control over us.
So I think
Right,
now,
yes,
as the connecting is, it's not so much connecting, going out, drinking. Yes, you have a good time and eating, whatever. I think the connecting should be dealing with information.
yes.
Mm.
Because, like, we just learned that about the fever. I didn't know that.
Right,
And by shout out
right.
to Katina, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
shout out
So
to
now,
Katina.
We learned that today. It's been a whole year of COVID.
Yeah,
So it took a whole year for us to find this out on the radio show. And thank you again. Definitely appreciate that. But I think it should be information. If you're going to risk your life, at least risk it for something that's worth it.
right,
You go out, hang out, get sick. You went out to get drunk.
right,
Now you
right.
wake up, you sick in the morning. You got another sickness sitting in your daggone chest.
So are we ready to connect more? Because that's what it's saying. We need to connect more.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I'll go back to what you said, that they about to release in certain states. So evidently we are ready.
Yeah.
They about to, pull the ban.
I think Maryland is going hard. I think Maryland's going.
Maryland's going pretty hard. Florida's been the bastard child the whole time.
Right.
Florida, like, we ain't doing nothing. Beaches is open.
Right.
I think the connect more is like you said, though. I think it's more on the information side.
Yeah.
Information side.
Versus just the hanging out, getting together.
Okay.
I think it's more on the networking, information side of things.
Well, I'm definitely glad that people are connecting with the Black Body Man Radio Show today
Absolutely.
for our first live episode
Appreciate
on
it,
the Black
appreciate
Body Man Facebook
Yes.
page. You know what I mean? We're going a little live.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for connecting with us. All right, so let's move on. All right, so we are on to number 5. So number 5 of tips to make 2021 better for you than it was in 2020. Own less. Own less. When everything is taken away, we see what is most important. When it comes to recognizing what activities contribute to quality of life, accumulating physical stuff pales in comparison to actual life-giving pursuits where we are being forced to go without. Decide to own less in 2021. Now, what do y'all get from that? Own less.
I just get to just be a little bit more, as far as your resources. I think you should own less just to make sure you have enough resources. If this should ever happen again or anything like it, you could be a little bit more prepared.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Less resources. What do you get out of that?
I pretty much respect what she said, basically because last year during COVID, you had a lot of idle time. Then you got it. Let's keep it 100. We got a lot of free money last year.
Hey.
So when you got a lot of free money, there was a lot of ordering.
Right.
So people were just ordering because some people was fortunate to have the money always like that. Now you get a bunch of people who didn't have the means. So now they're buying cars
Amazon
and furniture, sneakers. I mean, everything down to the wire.
Right.
So now you got a house full of stuff. But then once you realize that stuff will have a time limit.
Right.
I'm wondering people too, that time limit. So why you think you got enough time? I got enough time. You just buying and buying. Next thing you know, you hit exclamation mark. Boom. You
Right.
stop. Now you don't got the same type of money no more. So now you got to get back to your bills, get back to life. So what she said basically is calm it down.
Right.
Think before you buy, because this could happen again. It could turn it up from this virus to another virus. Now you're stuck. You don't have the resources, the money to get the water or the toilet paper or whatever may have you to survive. So,
Okay.
I agree.
Right, because this good thing, like you said, the free money, a lot of people got bailed out because they didn't have the
Absolutely.
resources. So
Right.
a lot of people were bailed out of some very troubled times they could have had.
And probably had to
So-
learn to live with less.
This makes you think about living with less.
Yeah, I think the minimalist approach is nice. I'm definitely a novice at it. I'm just like everybody else. I got a bunch of stuff that probably don't need. But I do like that approach of it. It almost reminds me of like when spring comes in and then you have that moment where you do that spring cleaning in your house.
Right.
When you start getting rid of that stuff and you selling it or you giving it away, and when it's all said and done, and you look around the house, you like, I like this. It's a little more simpler. You get what I mean? Yeah, it's a little more simpler.
You get around.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're getting at by saying when it comes to recognizing activities that contribute to your quality of life, that's what we should be focusing on versus the physical stuff.
Absolutely.
But it is difficult when we are bombarded with advertisements all the time. Like you can't even watch a video today without having 4 ads within the first 10 minutes of the video.
And a lot of things, and this is one thing I want to say to black people, is that a lot of these catering places and these apps where people are bringing food to you from different places, that was a lot of money. Because at the end of the day, you're looking at, you can't go nowhere anymore, right?
Right.
So now you're sitting out in Grubhub, you're sitting out this place and that place, and you're paying the meal is, say, $30. But you're paying them extra 10 to 15.
Okay.
As that's now, you can say, well, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to get this type of food, this type of food. I'm going to start making my food.
Right.
That's what can save. Because man, listen, I'll burn.
Definitely did a lot of cooking. Yeah, definitely did a lot of cooking.
Oh, I ordered out.
Yeah, I did a lot of cooking.
I ordered out. So that kind of hurt me. So now I'm looking at it now, like she just said, instead of me doing that, start going to the grocery store. I'm only 15 minutes away from the grocery store.
Right.
So yeah, that definitely.
Yeah, I actually did some cooking. Broke out the cast iron skillets, you know what I mean, and tried to learn some healthier recipes because I knew being stuck in that house, like I was just gonna get fat.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, we gonna get fat.
Kicking New York.
You know what I mean? They about to turn me into Ricky Ross.
Oh,
you know?
man, you went
Like
too far,
so I tried to learn how to do some different cooking, do some healthier eating, and knock out some water. The gym hurt me a lot. The little 2 days a week that I go and I couldn't go no more. I was like, this is bull.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we all was in that mindset, like I'll go outside and exercise. Man, ain't nobody do that nonsense.
And I think that's a very good tip to what you're saying about 2021 own less, because I think we really, really do have to listen to that, because I think people did like the complete opposite in this. I think I saw people shopping more
Yeah.
like in the pandemic than ever.
Amazon stock
I
went through the roof.
Was in my living room looking through windows, and I seen the Amazon truck in front of my door like every 5 minutes.
Yeah, they
Because
was
they were delivering.
Yeah.
Just,
Amazon, UPS, DHL.
Everybody.
You know what I mean? USPS.
and it's like own less, guys. Own less.
Yeah, and I guess
Right.
it's easier said than done because we
Absolutely.
got so many things that we like, and you see something you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I want one of them. Especially if you're sitting at home, like Amazon. This was the best thing ever for Amazon.
Right.
But I think also through that owning less, I think people were selling stuff, getting rid of stuff,
Yeah.
and then starting to learn how to invest in
Right.
simple apps that deal with stocks
Mm-hmm.
and cryptocurrency. Katina said yes, Amazon, and the cryptocurrency went real crazy. I'm gonna have to do a show on cryptocurrency because
Definitely.
I don't want the black community to be left out of this. And I feel like we have been for a while. I've been dealing with crypto probably since 2015. So I know enough about it to do a show on it and educate, and I think it's something we all should look into because it's not going anywhere. The digital currency is going to be here.
Yeah, because I now want to change the subject, but I do believe Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks owner, is
Yes.
pushing one of those coins.
He is pushing the Doji coin,
Okay.
and the Doji coin's a good one. So if anybody's out there and y'all know about crypto, again, I'm not an expert, but I would say buy some of the Doji coins. It's
Okay.
very cheap right now. Might be like, I don't know, 60 cents. You know what I mean? No, I don't even think it's that. I'm sorry. 5 cents. I remember seeing the 5.9. But yeah, it's about 5 or 6 cents right now.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good because it was less than a penny.
And I think
Less than a penny. And it went up to 8 cents.
Dallas is pushing for that dollar.
Yeah, he thinks that the Doji coin is going to be the one that's going to become a part of the regular currency.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And if that happens, like it's going to be some people coming up, because right now one of the things with the ushering in of the age of Aquarius is that they're predicting the biggest exchange of wealth in the history of the world. Right,
Okay.
because
go, black
you know what I mean,
people.
because they bringing in this new currency. You get what I
Right.
mean? There's a lot of people that already came up. So just while we on this, right? Okay, so if you just look at the Doji coin, right, it was
Yeah.
less than 1 penny,
Right.
and it went up to 8 cents. Right now, it's back down to about 5 cents. Now we all hear about Bitcoin a lot. Bitcoin $50,000 a coin, but at one point, Bitcoin was just like the Doji coin,
Right.
where it just it was a little chump change or whatever. But imagine even if you bought in when it was less than a cent, and it went up to 8 cents. So there were people out here who spent $100,000 on Doji coin and bought a
Right.
billion of them, right? And that got multiplied by 8
Right.
because it went to 8 cents. So that's how the game works. You know what I mean? You don't even need it to be where it's $50,000 like Bitcoin.
Yes.
You just need it to go higher than what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
You get what I'm saying? So it's some people that have really come up on cryptocurrency. So we'll make sure we do a show on cryptocurrency, and I'll try to give a basic breakdown of what it's about, type of apps you can easily use, because it's much easier now than what it was before in the beginning. You go back at least 5 years or more. Like you almost had to be a member of the Geek Squad to figure out cryptocurrency. Like I was literally home studying, how to deal with this stuff and understand it. But people are winning, and they're winning off these stocks right now too.
Right.
So I think once again, it could be a part of the design that we kind of get left out of this.
Yeah.
But thanks to the Black by the Man radio show, we are going to clue you in. So stay
Definitely
tuned for
tune
that
in
one
for
coming
that
up in the
one.
future.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right, so we'll move on. All right, so the next tip for having 2021 be better than 2020 is to encourage more.
Yes.
Encourage. 2020 was a hard year for everyone, and all of us needed encouragement from time to time. Let's give it freely in 2021, whether people ask for it or not. So hopefully the BBD radio show is going to begin to encourage you.
Yes.
So we got to encourage people more.
Yes.
What ways could we encourage people more? Like, what could we say that would, be where it would cross the plane of like the whole community? It could apply to the whole community.
We can encourage people more by doing exactly what we're doing.
All right.
BBD Radio Show.
All right.
Yeah.
How about stop hating?
Yeah.
How about we stop hating on each other?
That's a sick.
You understand what I'm saying? How about we try to give some encouraging words, or we don't say nothing?
Okay.
You have the option of not saying nothing. You understand what I mean? Now,
Yes.
now don't get me wrong. I say stuff that people don't like all the time, but you get what I'm saying? I'm never out to cause malice in anyone's life.
Yeah.
I would rather encourage. Carissa says no shade. Exactly.
Right.
No shade. Like, after everything that's happened within the black community between police brutality, COVID, drugs, you understand what I mean? Like, I think it's time for us to just encourage each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just encourage each other.
But how do you try? Like, an encouraging thing is very, very, very easy. But it goes to, like you just said earlier, about it takes so much energy to hate on someone.
It does.
Instead of encouraging someone, it's very light. How are you doing today?
Right.
Now, in
Exactly.
order for me to shame your character, I gotta go into detail. Because you're gonna say, "Yo, you heard Brother Mike the other day? What?"
Right. Right.
So
right.
now I have to now to what? Well, he did so and so. For real? So now before you know, one little statement is an hour, 2-hour conversation.
Right. Of nothing good.
Nothing. I can say, how's Brother Mike? He's doing wonderful. Have a good day, brother.
Right, right,
I'm on my way.
right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying? It
Yeah.
takes so much energy to cause confusion for no apparent reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got to do better with encouraging.
And we can always encourage people to be more positive versus negative. You know, when you see somebody starting to display that negative energy,
Right.
you can encourage them to, be more positive.
Be more positive and test the contagiousness of encouraging people. You get what I'm saying? Like, when you encourage people and you are supportive of what they're doing, if they got a business
Right.
or if they going to school, whatever it is they're doing, right? That can become contagious. Like, even if you really not that kind of person, but you decided, I'm gonna start forcing myself to be a little more encouraging to people, right?
Yes.
Even if I feel that they're doing something better than me, or they a little higher ranked on the social status, that encouragement is what's going to lead to people encouraging you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's the law of attraction. What goes around comes around. If you encourage and put out encouragement, you're going to find that coming back to you. I had a family member. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I had a family member. We was having a conversation, and in the conversation, that person was basically saying, "I'm so tired of all this BS I deal with." Right. And my response to it was, I understand 110%. But the way the game works is, if you're tired of a bunch of BS in your life, you must do two things. One, you have to stop providing BS in other people's lives.
Right.
Okay, that's why it's coming back to your life.
Yes.
And then two, even when you do that, don't allow other people to bring it to you. And the way it happens often is phone calls. People call people up to give you a bunch of BS.
Absolutely.
Even if it's not about you. They just want you to hear
Right.
their BS.
Be
Like,
part of-
you
part
know,
of
hey,
the
what's up, bro?
flow.
How you doing? Man, I'm at work, man. I'm telling you, these people getting on my nerve. Like, yeah, remember I told you this? It's like, you know what? I'm about to eat. Call me back.
I'm guilty of that.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, it's okay to vent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying don't vent, but these are not people that are just venting. This is kind of their convo all the time.
Yeah. They just want the
Yeah.
attention. So what do you do? Say for we're doing this radio show, right? And you have plenty of people. My man Horace, you have Katina, you have Carissa, you have a bunch of people that come on here to get the good message. Then you have this one particular guy or female who adds a little dirt to the page.
Right.
What do you do? Do you encourage them, like, look, or do you try to say, weave them out? Look, if you dislike it, you go somewhere else.
Right.
Or the people who are trying to get the information, who are encouraging each other, single that person out. Not to talk bad about them, but let that person know this is a high energy place right
Yes.
now. We're dealing with something, trying to create something, to gain from something. If
That's
you
right.
choose not to be on here,
Yep.
then leave.
Then leave. Yep.
So that's what a lot of people do. They'll sit in their houses and they'll sit and they'll wait. Their fingers jumping,
Right.
ready to attack someone.
As soon as they hear
who's
something they
just
don't like.
saying, like, exactly, it doesn't make any sense. So I think people should, to encourage each other is a blessing. We should be able to do that.
I think it is. I
But
think it's how you get your blessings too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But the person or the people should be held accountable for the acts of hating on the situation. You don't have to.
Right. Right.
No one tagged you. No one made you come
Yeah.
a part of the situation.
No one
Stop
asked your
it.
opinion.
Stop it.
Right. Because if you're going to give your opinion, right, your opinion is most accepted when it's positive.
Yes.
I mean, just be
True.
real. People don't want to hear your jacked up opinion.
Right.
So if you go have an opinion, you might want to go with the flow of things.
Exactly.
Or you're going to become who they attack. So getting to what you said, like if that happens, say in the comments while we doing the show or whatever.
Right.
A lot of times, the positive people who are already tuning in and learning from it, they deal with them. You know what I mean?
Well, I encourage y'all to do that.
Yeah.
That's my encouragement.
Yeah.
I encourage y'all, for the people who get out there, and I'm gonna be real quick because the brother want to say something. I encourage people to call people out on their BS.
Right.
If you're not here to benefit, if you're not, even with your posts, I used to be a negative person on it, but I got, told, you got to go the other way this time, you know.
Right.
But it's to the point where it has to have some benefit. Like, we just leaving out of 2020 where there's a bunch of XYZ going on. Now this year, it should be smiles, no cries.
Right.
You know what I mean? It should be encouragement, you know what I mean? Being more receptible to people, excuse me.
Right.
And doing things better.
Yeah. And I think if you stay on that path, I think what's going to happen within our community is that the more of us that become more positive and want to encourage each other, we're going to begin to separate from the people who don't get down like that. You know what I mean? You're not going to be invited to the event.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That you're not going to be invited to this, or they're going to say, I don't know if that person's a good fit.
Yeah.
It reminds me, if you ever see Jordan's Last Dance on Netflix, okay, so when it comes to the beef with him and Isaiah, and then they were saying, well, the word is that Isaiah didn't make it on the dream team,
Right.
because you didn't want him there, right? And Jordan's like, y'all got it twisted. Like, yes, me and Isaiah have our beefs. I hate him, don't really care for him, but y'all are missing Isaiah's relationship with everybody else. It wasn't me. Like, they didn't want him.
Right.
They didn't feel that he would gel
Right.
with the kind of rapport we all have with each other. You know what I mean? Y'all just want to blame me for it because I'm the obvious one who wouldn't really care for him. But Jordan was like, but if he was going to be on the team, he would have been on the team. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's what I believe is going to happen, because Isaiah's behavior
Right.
towards all the other people who have dealt with him in the league, and then versus the way they felt about Jordan.
Because he was very vocal. Jordan
Right.
told you what it was.
Yeah, they felt that Isaiah wasn't a fit, and then Jordan took the heat from it. Jordan's like, I never said that man couldn't be on this dream team. Y'all just wanted to be me. you
Right,
know?
the bad guy.
The bad guy. He was like, but look at the people on the team. Like, Isaiah didn't get along with these people, He didn't flat out say it, but he wanted to say, look, Magic don't like him, Larry don't like him, Charles Barkley don't like him.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So I believe that that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I hope so.
If you're not bringing that energy, I think people are going to elect to maybe not have you around as much.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you can't build with that. Because, like you said, that becomes the focus.
Absolutely.
You're trying to solve the problem of this negative energy. When you're supposed to be coming together to build something.
Right.
But we got that negative energy.
Well, this encourage more. One
Yeah,
way,
so we
right?
got to encourage more. Yeah. So encourage more is a good one. So hey, that's what's that? Number 6 for your 2021 tip to make it better than 2020. Encourage more. All right, let's move on. All right, so number 7, waste less. Seems like we all learned the value of another day and another opportunity because too many had their last one taken from them in 2020. Let's decide not to waste any day, any moment, or any amount of energy remaining. God damn, I like that one. It's no time to waste. You understand what I mean? Like, especially if you are of a mature age. Like, you really don't have time to be.
Clock's ticking.
And unless your life is that good, you know what I mean? Unless you just really got that much spirituality, you got that much money, you got your stocks, your investments, your homes, and maybe you got time for some BS. But most of us, I don't think we have all that, and we ain't got no time for no BS.
Hey, that's a good one. I'm going to let you go, ladies first.
No, I was just gonna say we pretty much just lost the whole year. Like, we don't have no time to
Not only did we lose a whole year, but they gave us some other shit in replacement.
Wow.
You know, it wasn't even just a year long. They gave us some
Right.
other shit to deal with. You know, like
take this.
it's that old adage of if you take something away, it gets replaced with something else. You know what I mean? Yeah, it gets replaced with something
I'm
else.
nervous on that one.
Yeah, it gets replaced with something, and they did that a lot within our community. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, not to go down the rabbit hole, but like for instance, when they devised the plan that took the black man out of the home, he got replaced with something else. You know, and we'll talk about that on another show.
I almost bit my lip. You know I listen.
But you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Shout out to DJ Big Man. What's up, my brother from the same mother?
Appreciate it.
So yeah, where was we at? Waste less. Yes, waste less. So let's talk about that.
I see this is gonna be the hard part because a lot of our time was wasted because that's all we had. And as far as at that particular time, as a person of my age, you know the clock's ticking. So by us being in 2020, we sitting around doing nothing, moping, shopping, or whatever, we didn't take that time to prepare for today. Because once this thing's over, you can be able to come outside, you can breathe again, you can do this again. Can you? Because right now, if I went back to work and have to really work like I was doing before, I'm out of shape.
Right.
I don't have the tenacity, the strength to do half of the stuff I used to do because we just been sitting there wasting time away.
Yeah.
wasting time waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting to
for
see
somebody to tell us
what our
something.
destiny is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it's saying. It seems like we all learned the value of another day because so many people didn't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the COVID deaths were like sudden. You know what I mean? It's like 1 minute somebody was here and then somebody's calling you. And man, for a while there, I just felt like somebody was calling me every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was really starting to down my spirit. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I felt bad that I was even concerned about that because, of course, someone else lost their life.
Yeah.
You know, but that is the reality of what it was doing. You know what I mean? Like, I got one particular uncle. He's the one who always calls me. You know, shout out to Uncle Daryl. You know,
Daryl.
and I've said it on shows before. When I look over and see my Uncle Daryl's calling me and it's 7 in the morning, man, my heart skips a beat because I know what he about to tell me. You know what I mean? You hear about what happened? Oh,
Right.
God. You know, but I do appreciate you, Unc. He keeps me informed.
Right.
And I do have to know, you know what I mean? So I do
Yes.
appreciate it. And I think that's what it's getting at, you know, like we have to appreciate every day now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been shown, you know, I don't want to get spiritual, but we've been shown the angel of death.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? And when the angel of death sweeps through, you know, you ain't got that lamb's blood on your door.
Yeah.
You know, it
Right.
can, yeah, you know, it can get ugly.
He doesn't have a friend.
Right. Not at all.
Doesn't have
Just an assignment.
Exactly.
It's no conscience attached to that.
Not at
It's just
all.
an assignment. Matter of fact, he feeling good to go before the Most High like I did my job.
Yes, he
Right.
did.
You know what I mean? I wiped him out. So yeah, I think we definitely have to waste less as far as days. You know, don't waste
Yeah.
another day. You know, appreciate people. I believe in giving people their flowers while they're here.
True.
You know, and I got on that path before COVID, but of course once COVID hit, you know, like I was seeing people I ain't seen before. They leaving them like, I love you, bro. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? I love
right.
you, man. They, all right, Mike. You know,
Yeah.
bro, you don't understand. You know, it's people
might
out
not
here
see you
dying.
again. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, people out here dying. So yeah, I think that's a good one. We have to waste less with our time and appreciate these days that we have. You know, to even come together and do the BBD radio show. All right, so let's move on. Number 8 in tips to make 2021 better than 2020. Thank more. Decide to say thank you more often. You will be blessed and the recipient will be blessed. It is a win-win.
Yeah.
Now, I'm good at this. I tell people thank you all the time.
Yeah, thank you guys for showing up tonight.
Hey,
doing the
and
show.
thank you guys for doing the show with us.
Right,
And
right,
thank you
right.
guys for tuning in with us.
Absolutely.
You know, I do tell people thank you all the time, you know.
I tell people thank you all the time. I tell people every day, thank you for coming to work.
Right, exactly. I want to read a comment here. I'm sorry, I missed this comment. This is Carissa. She says, yes, don't waste anything. Your time and energy, clothes, you can donate to rehabilitation of battered women or children, food, feed the homeless, children, elderly, those in need, and it makes you feel good to do for others. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's
Right,
good
right,
for
right,
not
right,
wasting
right.
time.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Right, right.
yep. Absolutely. Okay. So yeah, but we on thanking more. I don't look for thank yous, but I do like giving them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the reason I don't look for them is because you set yourself up for failure.
Right.
So if I do something, I do it because I wanted to do it.
Right.
If the person ends up not saying thank you or anything like that, like I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. They got to deal with that.
Right.
You know, I'm okay with that. Do you guys find yourself in situations often where you get a chance to tell people thank you for something they've done?
Yes, I tell people, especially my loved ones. I tell them thank you for loving me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, nice. That's good.
I
Yeah,
do.
that's good. That is something we don't hear that often.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
somebody love you, like, hey, thank you for loving me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll have to add that one in there. You know,
Add it in.
shout out to my brother DJ Big Man. Hey man, I want to thank you for loving me. 'Cause
Right.
I love you too. It's my big brother. Thank you. Thank
Shout
you
out.
very much. Thank you very
I
much.
do it now because I didn't do it. I always wasn't. I didn't do it. You know what I mean? I would appreciate what people did for me,
Mhm.
but now it means more to me now.
Mhm.
When you do something for a person and they give you the thank you back, it feels like that what you did was genuine.
Yeah.
And when vice versa with someone else, you know, you give something, they say thank you, I appreciate it. You add a little bit, thank you, I appreciate it. I
Sure.
couldn't do it without you.
Yeah.
When that hit hit home, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because you see that when you're an adult, when your kids, oh thank you, man, you know, all
Right.
whatever.
Right.
You know, so when you become an adult and someone appreciates what you've done,
Mhm.
it makes sense, it makes you feel good. I had someone say to me, I said, told them thank you. He said, you don't gotta thank me for that. I
Oh
said, why not?
yeah. I've had that.
I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna appreciate what you did. It could be $1 to $1,000, but that dollar I needed. So I'm appreciative of that dollar.
Right.
That $1,000 the same thing, but it all weigh the same. If you have a bale full of feathers
Mhm.
and it's a ton, you have a rock that's a ton. It all weighs the same. So that genuine thank you means the same exact thing. no matter what
It means a lot, man. Shout out to DJ Big Man. He says she just made the new saying, "Thank you for loving me." So yeah, we got to
Absolutely.
rock with that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Miss Janice, thank you for loving me. So we have to start telling people that. Like, hey
Right.
man, thank you for loving me. You know.
I know I wasn't nothing. I know I did nothing.
Right.
Please forgive me. Don't throw me outside.
I know I stole 2 beers from you, but
Right,
thank you
man,
for loving me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a situation. I told this story before. It was back in the day. It was Quiznos. So that show you how far
Man,
back
I
it
used
was.
to
right?
love Quiznos.
So I'm coming out of Quiznos, and it's a handicapped guy coming in, and he's got both of the arm things to
Yeah.
balance himself, and he was a little messed up. So I held the door for him, and he was like, "I got it. You ain't got to hold it." And he was like pretty hostile, you know what I mean? And I said, "No, I got it." And so he's moving forward, and then he had a couple problems. Right, almost fell. You know, so I grabbed his one cane and held it for him. We could get his arm back in it. And he's like, "You ain't got to help me, man. I got it." You know what I mean? I said, "It's okay, brother." And he was like, he said, "Nah, you don't understand. I did this to myself." You know? And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, you know, I wasn't born like this." He was like, I was drunk driving. He was like, and I jacked myself up, put myself like that. I said, "Well, you know, I'm sorry to hear that, man. But it doesn't," I told him, "it doesn't hurt me to take 30 seconds out of my day to help you.
Right.
You know, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? It's no big deal to me. I like this. I appreciate it." He's like, "Okay, man." He said, "Well, thank you. I appreciate that."
Yeah.
I said, "You know what? And thank you for letting me help you."
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And he just looked at me like, "You all right, man?"
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it did feel good. You know what I mean? Because like as a man, I knew the pride he was dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I've been off my feet before. You know, so as men, when our pride of being a man is taken from us,
Oh,
we
man.
can't be strong and we can't do what we do.
Yes.
It damages you, you know what I
Mentally,
mean? And he
severely.
still was in a stage where, you know, I don't want no man, you know what I mean, thinking he got to help me.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just like, bro, it's not hurting me to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all good. So yeah, I thanked him afterwards, and he really enjoyed that. Made me feel good,
Yeah.
you know.
People in relationships have to remember to thank their partners sometimes for having the patience to
Ooh,
even, deal with them.
let me get a better sound than that. How healthy would that make relationships?
Yeah.
Especially after the COVID. You know, COVID rocked a couple of them.
Right.
Up and down, because now you're in my face every day. I'm in your face every day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
COVID made you realize, do I really love this person?
and the most important thing it did make you realize is that all the stuff you said about that other person, you had to realize it was you.
It was you.
And nobody wanted to listen. I'm going to say this on the camera.
Uh-oh.
It was me. Flat out, it was me. Because I didn't know how to cope
Right.
in that situation being like that where, you know, I'm out one room, I go back to the room, you there, I'm there, you there.
Right,
So now
right.
that other person wasn't the one at fault, it was you fighting yourself because you can't go outside, you can't drink, you can't go this place. Now you're piling all this garbage on this individual person
Right.
that don't deserve it.
Yeah, true that, true
So
that.
if you done that out there, don't be fake, don't be phony, don't lie, tell the truth.
Tell the
You owe your
truth.
partner apologize. So I apologize. Just simple.
Shout out to Miss Shannon Ezell. She says, first time tuning in. Great job, guys. Proud of you, Derek Woodson. That's what's up. Thank you for writing that for that brother, you know?
Thank you. Listen, I want to give a shout out. Shannon's been my friend since 1990.
Right.
She
That's
gets
what's
on
up.
my nerves, but she's been a loyal friend.
That's a
since
real friend,
1990,
yeah.
Since 6th grade. Thank you, Shannon. I love you.
That's
I
what's
appreciate
up.
it.
That's what's up. You know? See, that's what we like.
Yeah, see that right there
Education,
alone.
inspiration, motivation,
Yeah.
the universal and practical.
Now, I was one of
knowledge.
those kids got skipped through with all the E's, so I want to let throw
You
that
said-
out
you
there.
said you can relate to that story.
8th grade, I had 5 E's. They shot me straight to 9th grade.
Looked at you and said, congratulations.
Thank you. My mother said,
You're
"How'd you
moving
make
on."
it?" I said, Mom, listen, don't you touch nothing. I'm going to high school, baby.
Oh, that's right. I'm going to get some juice. I ain't drinking chocolate milk
Right.
no more.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. All right, so let's move on. Number 9 with tips to make 2021 better than 2020. Compete less. Compete less. Says one thing is for sure, we're all in this world together. As a result, it's easy to see the world as competition against one another. Instead, let's remember we're on the same team, all trying to be the best versions of ourselves. If you want to compete against who you was yesterday rather than the stranger down the street. I like that. Compete with yourself.
Yeah, if you want to compete with yourself to not compete.
Yes. Yes.
That's I got to keep going.
Keep it 100, brother.
Because last year in 2020, like she said, Janice been hitting them on all cylinders today. Like she said
Janice
about
is
all
on fire.
all the businesses
Right.
that black folk did,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like your business been doing its thing for the last 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe more.
Mhm.
It was always in the mind, so it was always growing. You
Right.
know what I mean?
That's right. We are growing.
Right. So therefore, the problem is that now you had an opportunity all last year to build your business, and it was us tearing down our own businesses
Mm.
for personal gain. But do
Mm.
not attack the ones who shame black people,
Right.
who talk bad about black people,
Right, right.
and all these other things. So I think 2021, everybody who has a small business, who has a food truck, who has a clothing line, whatever you have, if you don't have the means to buy it, encourage people to buy it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Show people the right direction where instead of you going buying a shirt for $70, $80, get a Black by the Man t-shirt.
I like
Get
it.
You can get it's a bunch of other different people. There's a lot of females out there with bracelets.
Yeah.
Then you dealing with taxes and stuff like that.
Right, right.
And she helps you learn about housing and other things like that.
Mhm.
Give people an opportunity to make it somewhere instead of putting them down. That's
Yeah.
the problem. So 2021, man, get out your feelings. Let us as black people grow in this business and take over where like you said about the Bitcoins and all that other stuff.
Sure.
We can get to that and make sense with that money.
We can get to that. We can get to that. We did a few pop-up shops. We did one in November
Yeah.
and one in December
Mhm.
in front of my barbershop. That's in Edgewood, Maryland. And
I had a blast.
yeah. We offered opportunities to have a couple more vendors for free,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
is free, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't have anybody bite on it, right?
Right.
So we're hoping as the spring comes in, when we do more pop-ups, I'm going to offer that again.
Yes.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Because it's not going to always be free. The more we do these pop-ups, the more people are going to be coming. You have to pay for a slot. You know what I
Right.
mean? So for anybody from Harford County, Baltimore County, if you're in earshot of this, keep an eye on the Black by the Man page. We will be letting you know when we do the pop-ups.
Yes.
And if you got a product or service, you'll have an opportunity to have a table out there. Rock out with us. We always got DJ Big Man in the building,
Absolutely.
spinning on the ones and twos. We cook a little food on the grill, and we even have a little alcohol. Always makes things a little better, right?
listen,
So
I had
that's
a good
how we're
time.
trying to show what this is saying. Compete less. I'm not
Right.
competing. I want people to come out and help you do your thing. You know what I mean? Let Black by the Man be the springboard for what you do.
Yes.
You know, you can ride our coattail. That's what life's all about.
Absolutely.
I hope I can ride somebody's coattail.
Yeah.
You know what
It
I
makes
mean?
sense.
You know, but that's how we move forward as a community.
Yeah, and like you said, we're all in this together.
We are in this together.
It's enough room for all of us.
That's right. You're not competing. If you don't believe me, wait till you get pulled over by the police and there's 5 of y'all in there. You're going to find out you're on the same team. Cop going to lean in and be like, all y'all in this together,
Right.
Thought y'all was competitors up to that point.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, I like that. Compete with yourself. Try to outdo yourself. My personal route is I try to focus on my higher self. I still have work to do, but I'm definitely not who I was yesterday.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Damn sure enough, not the year before that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm competing with me. That's how I compete with me. I want to be able to leave this world at a certain age and know I left behind the best version of Brother Mike I could make.
Yes.
You get what I mean? The best version I could make. So walk with me. I'll keep getting better and better, and I encourage everybody else to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then it's fun.
It is.
It is. It's fun growing.
It's a lot of fun.
It's fun growing. It is really fun growing, and it's also nice when people who've known you for a long time notice it, and then they compliment you on it.
Yeah.
Like, man, you really a different brother, man. You know what I mean? Thank you very much. And I've had that happen a couple times. So shout out to those people. I won't go into names, but they recognize that, brother, you know what I mean, got better over the years.
And that's good because when a person can recognize somebody else growing, that's good for that person because that means they're growing too.
Absolutely.
Only growth
Hey,
is growth,
that's
so.
right. That's right. Game recognized game.
Absolutely.
It goes the same saying, even when it's on the
Yeah.
positive, right?
Yeah.
See, normally when we say that, it's really on some street. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the game recognized game.
No
Period.
matter where it's
No
at.
matter where it's at. If it's
Yeah.
negative, positive, neutral,
Yeah.
whatever. Game recognized game. So that's what's up. Okay, so we want to compete less in 2021. Make sure all your competition is with yourself. Look in the mirror and outdo you. You know what I mean? Outdo you.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, number 10, understand more. Not only was 2020 marked with a global pandemic and economic downturn, in many parts of the world, it was a year of political strife and division where a difference in opinion was often regarded as a difference in principles. It rarely is. Everyone will benefit both sides if we decide not to argue less and understand more. Yeah, to argue less and understand more.
Yeah, because that's a big one because, everybody want to be understood, but nobody wants to understand.
Ooh.
So, I think that,
Order up.
I like how she did it. These people say they understand to be understood. She said understood to understand.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice.
So I'll tell you what the problem is that I've discovered over the years with this, right? And of course, I think it's within our community. I'm sure it's in other communities as well, right? But my focus is always our community. A lot of times we don't listen to learn. We listen to debate. We listen to rebuttal.
Absolutely.
You get what I mean? So a lot of times when you're talking to another person, they're just waiting to hear that thing they disagree with. You know what I mean? That thing that they can rebuttal instead of actually hearing what you're saying. And then that causes the arguments. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the other person now feels defensive. Like, man, everything I said, you're going to focus on that? You know what I mean?
So-
who cares what kind of soda it was?
So by you saying that, what do you do to that person?
Yeah, that's a good question because it's different routes you can go with it. I like to bring up the fact that is what you are debating me with your opinion, tradition, or is it facts backed by research? And that usually ends it because most of the time it's their opinion. You understand what I mean? And their opinion usually disagrees with your facts. And you got to remind them, I appreciate your opinion, but you're wrong because the facts are this, that, and the third.
So when you have that's more or less, I'm not saying how you feel, but I took that as more or less face to face. But what if you had the people on the internet where you don't have that face to face, where you have to go back, they have about a 3-page comment. Now you got to go through decipher what they say on this,
Right.
to say, you know what?
Yeah, a lot of that I ignore, and when I read comments, right, I'll ignore it, right? If I read the comments and I feel that there's no intellectual property within your statements, I'm not addressing it. You understand me? Because I now know you really don't know nothing about the topic you're
Right.
talking about. You just come in with your emotions because whatever I said or someone else said tapped into you in a manner that you don't like. You know what I mean? Because most people of any type of intellect,
Uh-huh.
even if it's just on a specific subject, are not going to do that.
Right.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you do get into learning knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right,
Mhm.
and you get into learning facts, you are reluctant to speak on things that you don't have back in that,
Yeah.
because that becomes your strength. You know what I mean? So when I speak, my strength is that I'm backing it up with the research. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I can point to how I came to this conclusion versus just me giving my opinion. If it's my opinion, I try to say that if I'm in my right state of mind. That's always my disclaimer. If I'm in my right state of mind,
Right.
I will try to say, well, this is my opinion. You know what I mean? But this is fact. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
is how it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to cipher through what you're going to give your energy to and what you ain't. Because some people just come with that negative energy, and you know that's just what they're trying to drag you into.
But see, that's what bothers me the most is like, and you get on me a lot about this, and other people get on me a lot about this. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why? It's like, if I see a person I don't want to talk to, I'll keep it. I walk right by you.
Right.
It's no disrespect, but I know it's going to lead us.
Yeah.
So if you see something, a comment I made or something I posted, why you can't just scroll past me? The same as walking, right?
Yeah. I think they want attention.
So therefore, when you want attention and you attack me because there's nothing kind coming out your mouth, you're attacking me.
Right. Right.
See, it's not got to be physical for you to attack me. Verbal is worse than actual physical. Because now you're attacking me, taking me outside of my character. Now I can't defend myself. Now I'm angry. So when
Yeah.
I do see you, I don't want to attack you on here. I want to attack you physically.
Right. Yeah.
Because you pushed me to that point when it's unnecessary. So that's what I'm going to tell people. Like, if you're doing
Yeah.
something positive, allow the person to do positive and keep going by.
Yeah. And if they get you to that point, that's when they're winning. You get what I mean?
Sometimes I'm going to lose.
Yeah. I
I'm just being
understand, brother.
honest.
Yeah. I
I'm just being
understand.
honest because I don't want to sit up here and paint this picture like I don't comment on that.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. I get
Because
it.
you,
Yep.
of course, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
no
brother,
doubt.
I need you to, I need you to correct that statement.
Right.
You shouldn't have said that. And I'm back there.
Yeah.
I'm deleting more comments that I'm putting out.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean?
No, I
So
get it, brother.
get it.
I get it. But yeah, a lot of times they're looking for some type of attention. You know what I mean? And people will take attention even if it's negative attention. And as they say, it's no such thing as bad publicity. So these are the people that are willing to, be at a sporting event and run naked in front of everybody because it's still going to get them
Right.
the attention that they're looking for. You get what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, you kind of got to learn to pick your battles. You know what I mean? And as the scripture says, don't, I'm paraphrasing, but don't entertain a fool.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? A lot of people be foolish. Go ahead.
Yeah, because even at the end of the day, you have to remember, like, you can't argue back and forth with people's thoughts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What's in somebody's mind, only who
Their
knows.
thoughts and their emotions.
Yes, so
Yeah.
you can't go back and
Because you
forth
don't know
with
what
a
it's
person
connected
like that.
to that got them so riled up. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but I get that. But the only problem I really have with that is the stuff that I do post their attack is stuff to benefit black people.
Sure. That's just mental illness.
So that's why
There's
I
a
say
lot
the
of
why
mental
thing,
illness in our
because-
community.
Yeah, that's why. That's the only thing I get angry for. If it's something like an article about basketball, football, something like that,
Right.
that's your opinion. That could be a favorite football player, and I'm
Sure.
talking about. I get that.
Right.
But if it's about empowering us and black people doing this and doing this,
Mhm.
I don't understand why you would do that.
Right. Right. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I'll tell you this part. I'll add this to it. When you do learn certain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right, you can reach a point where you communicate in such a politically correct way that people will be scared to challenge you because they know you coming with fire. You understand what I mean? And they just gonna make a fool of themselves when they have now recognized you as being a factual individual. You get what I mean? So with your personal situations, that's what they're trying not to do.
Right.
They're trying to look at you like, who are you to
Right.
say that? You know what I mean?
Right.
But you can change that by having that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
True enough, and I'm gonna go with both of y'all. Both of y'all say game recognized game.
Game
You know,
recognized
So
game.
therefore, if I pretty much have to clean up my selection,
Mm-hmm.
because if game recognized game, I wouldn't have these conversations I'm having. So
Right.
therefore, somewhere down the line, I gotta exempt myself from certain people. Just simple
Absolutely,
mathematics.
absolutely. Yeah,
It'll
toxicity
be-
is
it'll be easier.
toxicity is very poisonous. You know what I mean? Some people's minds are so poisonous it goes back to the 6-man theory,
Yeah.
like who you associate yourself with.
Right.
You know, if you hang with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. If you
Mhm.
hang with 5 drug dealers, you'll be the 6th.
Mhm.
Hang with 5 people on drugs, you'll be the 6th. Hang with 5 people that like to be disagreeable and argue with everybody, you'll be the 6th.
Yes.
You get what I mean? So, yep, yeah, it's terrible. I know. Because I've seen situations where you posted and people come out the cut.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, yo, just blatant attack, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, what I don't understand is here's the example. I'm not condoning say harm anyone, but y'all only getting compliance with a person of a different color.
Mhm.
When they say it, you'll say it in a manner where they get it, but you won't go all the way in on them like you do with someone of your own color.
Right,
I think that's ridiculous.
right.
If a police officer put a right now white officer say, shut up and keep your mouth closed, you're gonna shut up and keep your mouth closed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even though he has a gun,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We in the hood, I got a gun.
Right.
How does he get more precedence over me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shoot you going in the alley. He's gonna shoot you in front of everybody.
Right.
So you're more scared of him because he can shoot you in front of everybody, or you're less scared of me because I can run off into the night?
Sure, sure. Yeah, well, again, that mental illness,
It's crazy.
we like attacking each other. But, yeah, you kind of got to elevate, feed that higher self. What they say is it's a higher self, it's a lower self.
It's that,
Who you become is who you feed the most.
yeah, it's that self-love. You gotta love yourself enough not to fool with that bull crap.
Right, yeah. And, of course, we know it's easier said than done. You get what I mean? But,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's
Still
it.
on the ropes, y'all.
Still on the road. That's all right, brother. You grow, and the fact that you can discuss it, that's
Still on the road,
growth. That's
man.
growth. All right, so let's move on. All right, so number 11 for 12 tips to make 2021 better than 2020 is save more. We have to save more. Okay, with the overnight shutdown, collapse of many businesses and worldwide economy, 2020 showed the importance of having some financial savings in reserve. If you haven't made saving a priority, decide to do it now.
That's true. 2020 did show, because when the businesses was going blowing up in 2020, like people were selling stuff left and right. If you had the
Yeah.
resources to jump on those deals, you were in
Mhm.
good shape. And a
You
lot
was
of
in
people
good
didn't
shape.
have those resources.
Right, right. Absolutely.
So it's definitely good to spend less and
Mhm.
save more.
Spend less, save more. I'll give out a couple tips because that's what we like to do, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm just the messenger. So it's an interesting book called The Richest Man in Babylon. I'm sure a lot of people may be familiar with it. You guys familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay, Richest Man in Babylon. So long story short about the book, he explains how you become wealthy. You know, so it's basically explaining that becoming wealthy is a slow process. You know, you need to reserve and keep 10% of your income, and then as that begins to stack up, you take that income and instead of you getting a job, you give that money a job. So you put that money to work. So that's the nutshell of the book. But it's definitely an awesome book to check out, Richest Man in Babylon. And that's what it's all about, because savings is great, but it is just part one.
Yes.
You get what I mean? It's
Definitely.
part one, but it's the most important part because
It
you
is.
can't move on to part two if you didn't do part one. You know,
Okay.
but you don't want to just save and leave money in the bank because the bank doesn't pay you anything.
Right.
You know, banks have very low interest rates. You put $10,000 in the bank in a savings account, leave it there for 3 years. You come back, it might be $10,082.
Right.
You know, like, you got $82 over 10 years, right? So you got other bets out there that are safer, like the stock market. People think the stock market's not safe, but everything has risk, and the stock market does have areas that are a little more safer than others, like the S&P 500, which nationally gains anywhere between 8 and like 15% every year over top of the other stock markets, like the NASDAQ, so forth and so on, or over top of you picking individual stocks.
Right.
So there's stuff out there to learn, but
Yeah.
savings is part one. So we do got to learn to save more. And I think that's something that should have came out of COVID
Yes.
because money became so precious.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? It became so precious. You know, hopefully now that we starting to, I guess, get back a little bit maybe, on track as far as people making money. I mean, what is the status as far as like society right now? Is everybody getting unemployment checks, or are we doing better?
Well,
I know they sent out some stimulus checks that I ain't get. Then I talked to about that.
yeah.
Where is my check?
Pretty much like coming into 2021, dealing with Joe. I've been like looking at it. Coming in with Joe Biden, he's basically saying $1.9 trillion he's trying to put into where you get the stimulus checks, you get the unemployment and stuff like that. So, they're not talking about the work economy starting back up. They're more or less talking about the more unemployment, the more money they're giving to the people who cannot get jobs, the people who are unemployment. But there's a lot of people still working, they're still getting stimulus checks, even though they're working as well.
Lucky you.
So therefore, you know what I'm saying, this year is starting off pretty much in a way of still a handout. We haven't stopped getting the handout since March of last year.
Right.
So some people are saying, you know what, I'm tired of the headache. And like you just said, stimulus check gonna come if it's not gonna come. If my unemployment gonna stay if it's not gonna stay. So some people are wanting to come out and start to go back to work because now you figured that some people did the businesses and they're flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people did it and it didn't go their way.
Right.
So now it's pretty much a deciding choice whether I'm gonna go back to work.
Right.
I'm gonna wait out what the president that he said he's gonna do all these things for us to get into office does what he says. So
yeah, good luck with that. I mean, I hope you do your thing, Biden. You know, you're getting your fair chance. That's for sure. You know, good luck with that.
2 times.
I don't know. All I know, the only thing I learned from all of this is I need a couple rental properties and some more.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's
It
what
does.
I'm talking about. So yeah, let's try to save more in 2021, and that will definitely make it better than 2020.
Yes.
You know, I'm assuming because statistically, the average American doesn't have $500 in their savings account. So if I'm basing it on statistics, then yeah, if you start saving in 2021, it's definitely going to make it better than 2020.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? All right, so let's move on to the last one. So this is number 12 of the 12 tips to make 2021 better than 2020.
What you have?
Love more. Love more. Love your spouse. Love your kids. Love your friends. Love your coworkers. Love you. Well, maybe not. Love your neighbor. Love. The world needs more of it.
Everybody needs love.
Everybody needs love. So that's the last one. Love more. Try to put out more love.
Yes, it
You
just
know?
feels good.
Tell somebody in your family you love them. You know,
Please.
Yeah, you don't know they might need it.
they might need it.
Rough time last year. Rough time. A little hug here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, tell people you love them.
Shout out to my cousin Tyrone, man. He called me earlier. We had a little discussion today, and you know how you rushing to get up the phone to get ready, whatever. He told me he loved me, man. I didn't get a chance to tell him. that I loved
Nice.
him.
Tyrone, you get a bell for that,
Tyrone
brother.
Kelly, man, I love you, cousin. You know what I mean? I apologize. I didn't get a chance. He's my cousin, but we grew up like inside of my mother's house. He's a real good cousin of mine. I got
Right.
plenty of them. I call like my brothers, but
Okay.
shout out to my cousin Tyrone Kelly, man. I love you, homeboy.
That's what's up. Shout out to Nasim Shabazz. Ike, what's good, brother? That's my brother from another mother. Ike's in the building.
I can't stand Ike. Man. Watch how you talk to me, Ike.
Ike, you hear this dude,
Listen, watch how
man?
you talk to me, man. Seriously, man. You put the question mark to get some smoke when I see you, man.
Ike, that's our man. Ike,
I love you too, Ike.
Yeah, we glad you still around too, brother. Much love to you.
Good
You know what I
friend.
mean?
Good friend.
No doubt. So that's a wrap, man. So I'll go over it real quick in case everybody missed it from the top. We got 12 tips to make 2021 better than 2020. Number 1 was smile more. Number 2 was complain less. Number 3 was appreciate more. Number 4 was connect more. Number 5 was own less. Number 6 was encourage more. Number 7 was waste less. Number 8 was thank more. Number 9 was compete less. Number 10 was understand more. Number 11 was save more. And number 12, the best one of all, was love more. Give more love.
Yes.
Definitely.
Give more love. All right, so that's what's up, man. This was great. This was great.
I had
It
an
was
awesome time.
wonderful.
So this was the first show back for 2021. And again, we wanted to keep it in line with our channel, education, inspiration, motivation through universal and practical knowledge. And I think the 12 tips, you know, we can practice them ourselves,
Yes.
you know, and come back and speak on if we've gotten some gains from it, you know, if it's made things better,
Yeah.
even if it's just a mental piece. And I want to add to the whole COVID situation. I think now more than ever is the best time for us to pay attention to what we eat and how often we are exercising and having activities. You know, everybody take care of themselves.
Yes.
Again, I'm just the messenger. I'm a work in progress as well, but I still like to spread the word. You know, a lot of times these diseases, the weakness of our immune system, it is actually coming from the foods that we eat.
Yes.
So we have to pay attention to this. If you've watched our previous shows before, then you should know what the G bombs are that I always preach about. So that's the acronym with the letter G, the word bomb, and it stands for greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, seeds, and nuts. These are the things we need to incorporate into our diet, and I promise you those things will kick COVID's ass, and you won't have to worry about being
repeat
sick,
that
man.
again? So it's
G bombs. Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and
when
seeds.
I spread that, I always forget the berries.
The berries.
Every
Gotta
last
get the
time.
berries. Strawberries, blackberries. You know what I mean?
Right.
Got to get the berries in there. So these are things, according to Dr. Joel Furman, who happens to be a favorite of mine, that he teaches. And much respect to Dr. Joel Furman. One of the things that he done that really made me respect him even more, like I do a lot of research, and of course there are certain things designed within our community and there are lies being told, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Furman was the first white doctor I've ever seen in my life that said they're lying to black people about telling you that your high blood pressure, diabetes, cardiovascular disease is hereditary.
Thank you.
It's not. It's coming from the food you eat. What is hereditary is your eating habits. And for a white man to say that, I got much respect for you,
Absolutely.
Dr. Furman, you know, because I know you put it all on the line when you did that.
Yes,
You
he
get what I
did.
mean? Because, of course, I get that info,
Yeah.
whether it's Dr. Sabi or other black doctors, but Dr. Furman's a pretty big wig. And for him to say this isn't right, he called it flat out bigotry. I said, Dr. Furman, you is my guy. So, again, check him out, Dr. Joel Furman, Eat to Live, not Live to Eat. And we're going to wrap it up, man. So it's the first edition of the Black by the Man radio show here live on the Black by the Man channel on Facebook. And on behalf of my team members, my co-host, the lovely Miss Janice, my main man, Mr. Derek Woodson, I'm your boy, Brother Mike. You know what it is. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace. We out of here.